And here at the day 2 of the 2012 NCAA Track and Field Championships, Division I, with on day 2 at the Mizzou Team Hotel with Dan Quigley, the 5th-year senior, who I guess is going to get another shot next year. But just tell me what, before we go back into history, what this breakout year has meant like you. I think I felt so terrible, this almost curse that you and Kyle Rood and Philip King have had, this kind of a just injury curse over the last several years, and obviously you did have some success in all conference and steeple, but just seemed like, you know, injury after injury for you three, and I know you came back healthy with a strong cross finish at regionals, and just tell me what it's been like to be healthy and to run strong.
You kind of said it. You know, it's been a rough road, but it's been a great year so far. It's always been my goal to be a national qualifier and to really be an All-American in track and cross country. And so that ship has sailed for cross country, but you know, the goal is still out there to be All-American in track, and just the opportunity to be able to get out and compete again this year and be healthy for a full year has just really been a blessing. You know.
Yeah.
I love the sport so much that. You know, 2 years worth of surgery and stuff is just really difficult to deal with. And
yeah.
Now, not only am I healthy, I'm fit and, you know, competitive, and so it's been a blast the whole year.
Right. Well, let's go back to you know, senior year at CBC with under Coach Bernie Sill and your dad helping out, runner up there with a great time at the state meet, and then you come into your senior track season and win probably the greatest regular season 32 2-mile in the Missouri history with 5 guys under 9:23, and you run a 9:08 before even April 1st. Tell me what you remember about that race.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, haven't really thought about it in a long time, but you know, that was the first race of the year for me. First 2-mile of the year. I'd run. I think a week or 2 before that was WashU. I ran a mile, and really all winter that year I'd just been doing, you know, strength training type of stuff, and nothing fast, not much on the track, and you know, just, I didn't really know where I was at, you know, fitness wise.
Sure.
So we're just, you know, getting out there and trying to compete. I knew the Potosi kids were going to be out there trying to run fast, and so the goal was just to, you know, run a negative split, and I did. I think I split like 4:38 the first mile, and then came back in 4:30, and you know, that was a lot of fun. It was a fun meet, a fun race. And to me, that was just more of a signal of things to come. You know, it wasn't, you know, I hadn't really trained to peak at that race or anything, so running such a big PR early in the season just, to me, meant that you know, I was on the right track and didn't really have any inkling that I was going to get injured in the near future. So.
How much later did you come down with a stress fracture, I believe?
That was, I got a stress fracture in my SI joint, which is just a really rare freak kind of thing, and it took us a while to figure out, but that didn't really happen until just a few days before districts.
Yeah.
I was feeling a little bit sore during the MCC conference meet, I think, and I just remember being a few days out from districts and going on a normal recovery run, you know, just kind of prepping, and by the time I got back from that run, I could just barely walk, and my back was hurting really bad, and my glute was hurting, and all those muscles were kind of spasming, and we just couldn't figure it out, you know. So we just couldn't pull out of the mile of districts because I'd already been entered. So I had to run that, and I barely squeaked out like a, I don't know, 4:30 or something.
Yeah.
One of the more painful races of my high school career. So that was really disappointing season.
Right, and then I guess Philip King suffered the same fate as you, and Kyle Rood all were signed to head to Mizzou.
Phil King and I were sitting in the stands watching Kyle win all of our races.
Yeah.
And it was just a tough state meet to watch. But, you know, then we all became teammates in a few months after that, and been great friends with both those guys ever since.
And started out with Coach Wilmus, and then a year with Coach Bingley, and now in your first year with Coach Lynn. And tell me what just, you know, I think a solid race at cross regionals, I think with about in the 30s or 40s, and tell me when you felt like things were right coming, you know, the indoor season. Would you feel like, man, yeah, this is great, I'm finally healthy, and feel like I'm where I should have been years ago.
Yeah, really. It took until indoor to feel really good. You know, I had surgery about a year and a half ago on my left hip to repair some torn cartilage, and I really didn't start training again until the end of January last year.
Okay.
So I was doing like 20 miles a week at the end of January last year, and then so coming into the last fall, you know, cross country season this past fall, didn't have a whole lot of base still. I was struggling kind of all the time, really, just to keep my head above water with the mileage and the distance. You know, 8K and 10K was really tough after having less than a year of consistent training. After 2.5 years or so of off and on training and surgery. So that fall was really difficult, and I was still having a lot of pain in my hips, but I think that really was what set me up for this track season, was just pushing through that and gaining that strength throughout cross country season. And somehow I managed to get through all winter without being sick.
Yeah.
And that was another really fortunate thing, and I think that really helped set up my season. And indoor.
Let me go back before with the injury. I know the Dave Matter Columbia Tribune story from last month.
Sure.
Talked about the hip injury and kind of almost a usual. Did they even shave the bone, or did they just try to loosen up some of the ligaments in the hips, or just really extreme tightness? Or?
I had some torn cartilage in the hip.
Okay.
In the labrum, just the cartilage around the edge of the hip, and partly it was due to steeplechasing, and partly was due to just genetic deformity.
Sure.
That the ball joint in the hip was just not perfectly round. There was a little bit misshapen. So they cut off a little bit of that bone to kind of reshape it and hopefully prevent future injuries.
Right.
And then they also cut out the torn cartilage, because that's kind of what causes the pain and the instability in the joint when you're trying to run. So.
And then tell me about the run well indoor season. You get to the conference meet in the 5K. Tell me what you're feeling like and what the goal was and how it all went.
Well, I'd had a pretty good outdoor season up to that point so far. I had big PRs.
Indoor. I'm sorry.
Oh, indoors. Okay, you're talking about indoors. Indoors. The goal was to just get out there and compete. In the back of my mind, I wanted to break our school record in the indoor 5K. I'd gotten close earlier in the year up at Grand Valley. I'd run on their 300-meter indoor track. I was about half a second off.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to get out and compete. Was really my main goal, was to be all Big 12 and just to get in the mix. And that's what I like to do. That's why I like track.
Sure.
I don't necessarily like going on time trial and stuff. Racing people is the fun part of it. So that was the primary goal, and getting a school record was the secondary goal. So but it was awesome. I got both. I got 8th, and I got the record. So
yeah,
it was really exciting.
13, or let's see, 1402.
03.
03. Okay, yeah. 1403 in 8th place, and down at Texas A&M for all conference, and surely that had to feel pretty awesome. Break through and feel like finally you're where you felt like you probably should have been, and you're.
Yeah, I had PRs in the mile indoors and the 5K and the 3K that indoor season. So it was great just to be back training and bettering what I'd done in the past.
Right, and I think Coach Lynn said that you guys decided to not try to take a last chance effort, just to get ready for outdoors. And
I felt after doubling back the next day in the 3K, I felt like if I had gone to a last chance to meet the next weekend, I knew I could get the school record in the 3K also.
Right.
But we kind of decided that was just sort of a selfish goal. It's like, I can get it, but that's going to really delay my outdoor season a little bit.
Sure.
And I'd rather take a little bit of recovery time and start really getting focused for outdoor season. So that's what we did instead.
Yeah. We'll pause here and then talk about your fantastic outdoor season.